Welcome to Sharing Love and Loss with Robin Alexis. I am your host, Robin Alexis, and as a mother who birthed two sets of twins and then buried one from each set, I am very familiar with the shock of experiencing loss. Loss can present itself in many ways. It can be the loss of a baby, person, beloved pet, health, career, and more. But we all have to learn how to deal with loss. So how do each of us in our own unique ways cope with loss? This show is an opportunity for our guests to share with us the experience of what they lost and how they coped through it. If you would like to be a guest on Sharing Love and Loss, please email me, your host, Robin Alexis, at spiritladyrobin@gmail.com. That's spiritladyrobin@gmail.com. And to feel more safe contacting me about your personal story of love and loss, please learn more about me, your host, Robin Alexis. Visit my website, robinalexis.com. We'll be right back.
Do you crave freedom with joy in your life? Have you ever wished for a life of ease in your mind, body, and soul? Giving and receiving love, Joy Air is a certified emotion code and body code practitioner, and she's accepting new clients now. Call her at 360-582-6595 to find out more about her work and to schedule your appointment. Experience freedom with joy. Call her at 360-582-6595 now. She is amazing.
This is Robin Alexis, and I am very, very excited to share with you my new book, Raising Humanity, Why We All Must Remember. It's a book about choosing love. There's 21 inspiring stories by different authors, including myself. The book can be found at Amazon.com. That's Raising Humanity, Why We All Must Remember.
Join Mystic Radio for past lives, people, and pets every Wednesday at 12 noon on KKNW 1150 AM. Every Wednesday, you can call into Mystic Radio for a past life reading or a spiritual healing for you and your pets. Robin Alexis is an exceptionally talented intuitive who's identified hundreds of people's past lives. Nels Rasmussen is a renowned spiritual energy balancer who is adept at remote healing for you and your pets. Join us Wednesdays at 12 noon for Mystic Radio on KKNW 1150 AM.
Welcome to Sharing Love and Loss with Robin Alexis. I am your host, Robin Alexis, and I'd like to thank our producer, Eric Ryder, and our sponsor, Freedom with Joy. Without them, I wouldn't have this wonderful opportunity to interview the following guest, who I'm so excited to share with you. His name is Greg Dale. He is the founder and owner of Artful, a company in Seattle, Washington, that serves a global need to help people grieve the loss of people and pets. Welcome, Greg.
Well, thank you very much, Robin. I'm honored to be part of your show.
Well, thank you for taking the time to be with us. And I'm so in awe of what you have created with your company, Artful Ashes. But before we go into describing that, I'd like the backstory of who is it that you loved and you lost that brought you to this place of creating what it is that you do?
Well, I lost my grandparents, and I was very close to both of them, and that was many, many years ago. And so just their influence in my life and the fact that I did have some of their ashes was a starting point. And what happened was I nearly lost my father to a surgery, and he made it through just fine is the good news. But what we did for 4 days in Miami was talk about what happens if I don't make it through the surgery. And so my dad actually was the one who started thinking of really creative ideas. One is you can have some of your ashes shot into space. You can be part of fireworks. And then when he mentioned that you can have your ashes turned into concrete blocks and statues and become part of a reef offshore in Florida, and be part of a natural reef for eternity, and people could come dive. And it just really got me thinking that there's something different, something that can help you feel better about losing a loved one. And so it was my father really that got me thinking. And when I got back to Seattle, I shared this story with a good friend who's in the glass industry. And he said he saw that they were putting glass ashes into glass art. I took the idea to a studio. The previous owners were Greg and Dale. My name's Greg Dale. And we all just laughed and started this amazing business about 10 and a half years ago.
And so you had your grandparents' ashes. How does that process work? You just give all the ashes or some of the ashes to the artisan?
Yeah, well, we only need about a tablespoon of ashes for each one. And if anyone would like to take a look at our website, artfulashes.com, you can see the beautiful treasures. There's glass art, and there are thin layers of ashes mixed in with the colors and the beautiful designs. And what we do is we send out a package to safely return a tablespoon of ashes. And we ship all over the country, and Canada and Australia is really a big country for us. We've shipped back and forth over 40,000 times safely. But that's what we need, is just a tablespoon of your loved one's ashes, whether it's a fur baby or a human. Um, and we take the hot glass and touch it to them, and it picks up a really thin layer that turns pretty much pure white, and along with the beautiful colors. Uh, Everyone just tells us that they're so beautiful that it just helps them focus on healing. And I'm right now looking at a beautiful starfish that has my mother's ashes, and it's on my desk. And every day I glance over several times each day and just smile. And for some reason, they bring the happy thoughts and the good memories. And yeah, we're just so honored to make these. Everyone that calls us is looking for healing, and everyone just pretty much tells us that being able to hold something tangible and beautiful really helps.
Well, I can't even tell you how much I wished I had known about you and your company 44 years ago. I had just a horrible experience with the loss of a child. I had a set of twins, and one died. And I was very, very ill myself in the hospital and almost died. And I returned home
Wow.
from the hospital, and there was a knock on the door, and it was the mailman, and he had a package that he wanted me to sign for. And at the time, I was excited. I thought, oh gee, maybe somebody sent me a gift. I've never signed for a package, and I didn't really like look at the return label. I just opened it, and when I opened it, at first there was a gold box, and then I opened that gold box, and it was a baggie of ashes of my daughter with a bread tie
Oh,
on it. And
oh.
I just fell to the floor in grief because I couldn't believe anybody would send your child's ashes to you like that, and you wouldn't even know that it was going to happen. And I held on to her ashes for a very long time because I just didn't know what to do. But if I knew about Artful Ashes right now, I could be like you, and I could be holding to my heart a beautiful piece of glass made from her ashes. So when I knew you could come on and talk about what you do, please share more stories about, like, do people ever come to you before they die and like pick out what they want to become as a piece of glass?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I'm just so sorry about your loss. I just, I just can't imagine what that must have been like going through. Um, but
Thank you.
yeah, what happens is people come from all over the country, actually, and all over the world, and watch them being made in person. Uh, that's
Wow.
that's one thing very special. And there's lots and lots of people put us in their will, and there's lots of couples that have designated that they want their ashes mixed together forever. Uh,
Oh, how
what
beautiful.
It really is. And the main image on our website is a beautiful green, aqua purple gold heart with red flowers. And that particular heart has my grandparents' ashes together. And we've etched on the underside, Grandpa and Grandma together forever. And
Oh,
and so it's very, very common for people to decide that this is what they want done, because they don't want to be in the ground. And um, and urns are beautiful, but there's just something different about beautiful glass art. The psychological feeling is everyone tells us is happiness, as opposed to sadness. But a step backwards to the viewing part. Most every Friday, Christina and I go to the studio on Whidbey Island, and people come in from all over the country. Last Friday, we had a group from the East Coast who was taking a cruise to Alaska. And we've done that many, many times where people come in from Europe and take a cruise, drop off their loved one's ashes, take a cruise to Alaska, and pick them up on the way home.
that's
Because
amazing.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah, it's just very special. Uh, but no, we uh, we just uh, we just feel honored for what we do. Everyone who contacts us is kind, and they're just looking for healing, and most everyone's looking for some form of closure. And it's a word that we hear very often when you can hold a beautiful, tangible piece of your loved one in your hand in beautiful art. It just somehow flips that switch, um, and sometimes it really flips that switch of healing and closure.
Well, we're going to take a moment to hear from our sponsors, and then we will be back hearing from Greg Dale, the founder and owner of Artful Ashes. And we'll talk about different ways of handling the depths of grief, the pain of loss, and then how can you change it into a feeling of happiness. We'll be right back.
Do you crave freedom with joy in your life? Have you ever wished for a life of ease in your mind, body, and soul? Giving and receiving love, Joy Air is a certified emotion code and body code practitioner, and she's accepting new clients now. Call her at 360-582-6595 to find out more about her work and to schedule your appointment. Experience freedom with joy. Call her at 360-582-6595 now. She is amazing.
This is Robin Alexis, and I am very, very excited to share with you my new book, Raising Humanity, Why We All Must Remember. It's a book about choosing love. There's 21 inspiring stories by different authors, including myself. The book can be found at Amazon.com. That's Raising Humanity, Why We All Must Remember.
Join Mystic Radio for past lives, people, and pets every Wednesday at 12 noon on KKNW 1150 AM. Every Wednesday, you can call into Mystic Radio for a past life reading or a spiritual healing for you and your pets. Robin Alexis is an exceptionally talented intuitive who's identified hundreds of people's past lives. Nels Rasmussen is a renowned spiritual energy balancer who is adept at remote healing for you and your pets. Join us Wednesdays at 12 noon for Mystic Radio on KKNW 1150 AM.
And we are back now with Greg. Greg, we were talking previously, you and I, about how sometimes when people are talking to you about the selection of what to do with someone's ashes, these people are working with mediums.
Yes, yes. We we've had it happen 3 times where clients have told us that, oh, we've got so many stories of of spirits visiting clients And so many of them are from children. The children seem to be more in touch with the spirits, but we've got so many stories where they have seen their loved one's spirits. But specifically with mediums, we've had three stories where clients were with their medium after losing a loved one, and the medium made reference to the glass art, and one medium told our client that her son wanted the blue round orb, and that is just so specific, uh, and just amazing. There's just no way for a medium to know that these three different clients were considering getting Artful ashes, and for their loved one to come through from the other side and actually pick a color. It's just it floored us.
Yeah, well, I had an experience. I actually, for people who are listening, I am part of my skill set is I am a medium, and I was talking to a client last week, and all of a sudden, her mother came through, and she said to her, "I would like to be have my ashes made into blown glass," and I hesitated for a minute to tell the woman because there had been no previous conversation about the mother dying or what the mother might want to do, but I just said it. And she goes, "Oh my gosh, my mother loves blown glass. How can I find out about this?" So I gave her Artful ashes, and I'm sure she, if she hasn't already, will be contacting you. So, for those of us who have had experiences, whether you consult a medium or you yourself have a moment with a spirit, like you were talking about the spirit of children and how they feel about the Artful ashes. Could you talk a bit more about that?
Yes, absolutely. If you look at our Facebook page or our website, there are just thousands of images, and children, they seem to connect with them more than adults. And when I hear stories from customers who've lost loved ones or they've had spiritual experiences, it's predominantly children are the ones that see the spirits and make contact. Ourselves here, just taking a step backwards, I think it's the innocence and the open-minded child that I think maybe adults just don't have the time or patience to realize what's happening. I'm not sure how that all works. I can tell you here, my wife and Kimmy saw a full-on ghost, and they're both standing side by side. And Sophia, our glass artist and etcher, she saw the spirit of a woman just a few months ago. And with 75,000 treasures that we've created over the last 10 and a half years, I'm surprised we've only been visited by two ghosts that we saw. But there's just there's that connection that seems to be different with children. They look up. We hear stories about looking up and seeing grandpa or seeing grandma, and just the stories are so specific. I believe myself.
Well, I'm so happy for the children that they can be comforted in this way, and that they are accepted for having these experiences. Now, how many artisans do you have that
We have
create these?
Yeah, we have six amazing artists, and artists typically are just very kind, caring people, and we're blessed to have these six artists that help us with our project. That for them to make glass artwork that makes a difference in someone's life is their goal. And so when you take beautiful glass art and then make it invaluable with the ashes of a loved one, our artists are they just love they love what they get to do. And on our website, our main artist Minhee, Um, she's just an angel on earth, and there's a little message from her about what making these memorials for people and pets mean to her. And she also was a finalist on the Netflix Blown Away 3 series. Her name is Minhee, and she's
Tell us about
again.
that.
Yeah, well, uh, she's one of the best known artists in the Seattle area, and she got an invite to Netflix Blown Away 3, and she accepted it, and she made it to the top two. It's an amazing series, an amazing glass competition, and you get to know who's making these treasures for you. And also, it's just so entertaining to watch glass art in a competition setting.
Now, when you or when she is creating the art with someone's ashes, can anyone view that, or is it just someone that's involved in a relationship with the person that's ashes are being created into this beautiful piece of art?
Yeah, what we do, we have two studios that we use, and um, uh, we keep it private, uh, just out of respect for our clients. A lot of people come in just not really knowing what to expect, and they're still quite sad over losing their loved one. And so we have separate appointments so they're not interrupted. And we can just really focus on them and making the memorials. And I'll grab a camera and take lots of pictures and videos. And we have clients that come from all over the world, most every Friday. And I've got to tell you that it's over 90% of them leave laughing and smiling and talking about their loved ones and talking about how they first met and telling all the stories. And I'll never forget a woman from California. She came up and she was just laughing and having a great time and talking about her husband that she'd lost. And and she just stopped and she said, "Well, what is going on here?" She said, "I just lost my husband and I'm having the time of my life." And I think that's something about the glass and my artists and my staff. Um, we know that everybody wants to take some steps forward, and just seems to work really well. So we really recommend that you come and watch in person, and it's a complimentary service.
So wherever you are in the world, whether it's Seattle or anywhere, you can go to Artful Ashes and you can be exposed to this idea of what you or a loved one, person or a pet, could possibly do with your ashes or their ashes to honor their spirits and the lives that they led. So I wanted to go back to what I mentioned at the beginning, that I had been hospitalized, my daughter had died, and no one had communicated to me that if you leave a body in a morgue in a hospital, at least where I was, if within 3 weeks you haven't picked up that body, they just send it to a crematorium and then you get the ashes in the mail. And I was so sick in the hospital. If anybody even told me that, I didn't know it. And honestly, I was so sick, I wasn't thinking about my daughter that had died. And no one talked to my husband about it. And so here we are, we're 23 years old, we've lost a baby, we've got these ashes we don't know what to do with. And 44 years later, I get to interview you, Greg, and
Mhm.
share with the world, don't have happen to you what happened to our family. You can be proactive right now and you can think about, what do you want to do with your remains? Do you want it made into beautiful art? And Greg, why don't you tell us one more time or several more times how people can get a hold of you and participate in this conscious decision making of what they might want to create for themselves and others?
Yes, absolutely. But if I may ask, maybe off the radio, if you still have the ashes of your daughter, we would be so honored to make something for you.
Oh,
So
you're moving me to tears. I don't have them anymore. I actually ended up burying them with my grandfather when he died. But I'm telling you, if I still had them, Greg, I would be on your doorstep because I can't even tell you how much I would love to be holding a beautiful piece of glass close to my heart right now. And again, in memory of my daughter, I share Greg and Artful Ashes with you people so you can have a beautiful ending and a beautiful celebration of life for your loved one. And how can they find you again, Greg?
well, they our website is Artful Ashes, ArtfulAshes, and my name is Greg Dale, and my wife is Christina, and our phone number is 206-409-0337. And we make beautiful glass hearts and orbs and starfish and angel wings pendants. And if I might share with you, everyone knows that I want to be a starfish in a fish tank. And
That
why
is
not?
so cool.
Why
Well,
not?
I'm not sure what I'm going to pick yet, but I think I'll join your Facebook page. What's the name of your Facebook page?
It's Artful Ashes, and we have 900,000 followers, and that's really one of the best places to learn about us. There are just thousands of testimonials from clients who have come in person or who have received these treasures from us. It's Artful Ashes Facebook and Artful Ashes website.
Thank you so much, Greg. I bow deeply to you. I love what you and your family have created with Artful Ashes, and may they perpetually bring joy to the process of grief. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I look forward to meeting you in the future.
Thank you very much as well. Take care for now.
The previous program, Sharing Love and Loss with Rob and Alexis, was produced by Eric Ryder and was brought to you by Freedom with Joy. I do invite you to subscribe to Sharing Love and Loss with Rob and Alexis wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.